Before he had joined the Green and Gold, Fires was pitching well for the Tigers, and adding him to a team in a pennant race was the perfect move for both him and the Athletics. So far this season, Fires has 4 wins with the A's in 6 starts and an ERA under 3. More importantly, the Athletics have won every game that Fires has started. Tonight, Fires gets the ball and takes on the Orioles. Next. Well, the 6-game road trip for the Athletics starts tonight at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Just a little bit rainy, but we are going to play baseball. And for the Athletics, Mike Fires is going to get the start. It's the A's, and it's the Baltimore Orioles coming up on NBC Sports California, powered by Xfinity. Hi again, everybody. Welcome to Oakland A's Baseball. Along with Ray Fosse, I'm Glenn Kuiper. Mike Fires will be making his 28th start of the year, his 7th with the A's. He's having a terrific season, Ray. His last start, he got the win against a very good Yankees team. That was on Wednesday.
And let's not forget, that game has started 10 minutes later than he thought because of the Hall of Fame for the Athletics. But he has been exactly what the A's had hoped he would be. A great starting pitcher that they know they can give the ball to him every 5th day at least. He's got a great fastball. Curveball works very well with Jonathan Lucroy. Also with Fegley, he does a great job. And I think for the Athletics, because they're using the opener, they know they can turn to Mike Fires, and he can pitch and pitch well, pitch deep in the ballgame.
And for the Baltimore Orioles, to say it's been a bad year would be an understatement. They have a record of 41 and 102. It is by far the worst record in all of the major leagues. They're not hitting. They're not pitching. They're trading all the players that were going to be a free agent, so it's really a much different O's team than we saw earlier in the season. That was back in May. And tonight, Ray, they will send the veteran Alex Cobb to the mound.
And let's hope he's the beginning of a 3-game losing streak for the Orioles against the Athletics. But Cobb has faced the Athletics before, even earlier this year when the Orioles came to the Coliseum. He's a very good pitcher, signed a long-term contract with the Orioles, so they knew what they were getting in him. They like Fires. They want to make sure that they get somebody that they can run out there every 5th day. He's a good pitcher, and I think can really help this ball club in the future.
All right, and the Astros and Tigers will be playing. Yankees and Twins will be playing, and we will keep a close eye on those 2 games. And here in Baltimore, first of 3 between the A's and the Orioles. We'll have lineups and first pitch when we come back to Camden Yards. Park at Camden Yards. On an overcast and kind of a damp evening. And we will talk about the weather as tonight's game goes on, but I think we're going to be okay tonight for game one of this three-game series. Let's check that game time weather presented by the Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk. The admission-free boardwalk is open this weekend. It's about 75 degrees, and it's humid, as it always is here on the East Coast, but just the way it is. With Hurricane Florence on the way, that is the big issue here on the East Coast, so we hope everybody is going to be okay, because it's coming, and it's going to be here.
I don't know that we're going to see the sun in the time that we're in Baltimore. We haven't seen it yet.
I don't think so. Starting lineup for the A's tonight brought to you by Southwest Airlines. And here it is. Ramon Laureano will lead things off, followed by Matt Chapman, Jed Lowry, and Chris Davis. Then Matt Olson hits fifth. Stephen Piscotty hits sixth, followed by Simeon, Pinder, and Luke Croy. That's your A's starting lineup.
And the A's are going to see a gentleman that they've seen a lot of, Alex Cobb, who pitched for the Tampa Bay Rays. They also faced the Athletics back on the 6th of May. Gave up just one earned run, but still lost the game 2-1. But a good pitcher, and as we detailed earlier, the Orioles signed him to a long-term contract, one of the many off-season acquisitions by players at least who could get a contract. But he's got a good fastball, basic 4 pitches that he throws, including a 2-seam fastball. He's trying to do what's something the Orioles have not done. That's won a ball game, and this is a big series for the Athletics.
Defensively, the Orioles line up like this. Joey Rickard is in left, Cedric Mullins in center, Adam Jones slides over to right. Former A Renato Nunez is the third baseman, Jonathan Villar is at short, Breivik Valera is the second baseman, and Trey Mancini's at first, with Caleb Joseph doing the catching. So it is a much, much different Baltimore Orioles team than what the A's saw back in early May when the A's swept them at the Coliseum. Lots of changes, lots of trades, and it's just been a year to forget for the Baltimore Orioles. So they'll finish it up and try to regroup and get things turned around going into next year. So Alex Cobb is ready, the veteran right-hander, and so is Ramon Laureano. Cobb kicks and delivers the first pitch of the game, and it's in for a strike. Quick look at the umpires. That's Chad Whitson calling balls and strikes. Bill Miller is the crew chief. He's at first. Angel Hernandez is at second, and Todd Tishner is at third. So the A's and the Orioles, the first of 3. A's will then head on to St. Petersburg for a 3-game series against the Rays. Tapped foul.
It is a challenge for the Athletics, seeing them line up for the anthem. Of course, the Orioles were already in the field as they played the anthem with the Orioles in the field. And there are a lot of players for the Athletics, and they were all lined up in front of the dugout for the national anthem in a moment of silence.
Strike 3 called on the outside corner, and that's how the ball game starts. So Cobb strikes out Laureano.
Again, Caleb Joseph, the catcher, that 2-seam fastball that Cobb likes to throw. Outside corner, brings it back over and freezes Laureano. He thought maybe it was a little bit high, but the home plate umpire, Chad Whitson, he kind of tells everybody right now what he's going to call tonight.
Pitchcast brought to you by SoFi, a modern finance company. And here's Matt Chapman.
I think we all agree this is a big series for the Athletics. You may say, well, they've lost 100 games, but as someone said tonight, it is true. Orioles right now probably the team that you don't want to play, because they've got everything to gain, nothing to lose. They want to try to be a spoiler. And for Buck Showalter, their manager for many years, he would love nothing better than to be a spoiler down the stretch the last 3 weeks of the season, because they know they're going home after the season ends on September the 30th.
1-1 to Matt Chapman. Swinging and a miss, 1-2. Chapman hitting .280, 22 home runs and 59 RBIs.
You know, there might be more A's fans in the crowd tonight than Orioles fans, just because there are a lot of people coming to watch some of the A's players play. Met some of them down by the dugout before the game, and they are throughout the stands. except for that woman right between the two A's fans.
Strike 3 called on the outside corner. So Cobb back-to-back strikeouts to open up the ball game. So 2 away. Hey, tonight any 95-mile-per-hour fastball is our fast pitch brought to you by Xfinity, the fastest Wi-Fi at home and on the go. So with 2 outs, here's Jed Lowry. Lowry with a .274 batting average. He's got 21 home runs and 89 RBIs. He was 1 for 7 in that series over the weekend against the Rangers. He did not start one of the games. Hit foul.
The thing about Cobb staying in the American League East, he's very familiar with the teams that he's facing, and he's had a lot of starts against the Athletics throughout his career, but again mostly with the Tampa Bay Rays. And there's Buck Showalter, 9th season, but he, along with the general manager Dan Duquette, contracts expire following this 2018 season. Remains to be seen. I asked Buck, I said, "You going to stick around? You want to manage?" He said, "I don't want to quit. I'm not ready," but just a matter of where he would go. Would he stay here? He was working for the network. He did come back and been with the Orioles in that period of time. But it's got to be a struggle, because what he's doing now here is something you don't like to even talk about at the major league level. He's teaching. Their coaching staff is teaching these players how to play baseball, and that's something that should be taught at the minor league level before they get here. Dan Duquette, the general manager. We knew him with the Boston Red Sox, now with the Orioles. They are in a total rebuild.
3-2 pitch to Lowry, just a little high.
And this is Alex Cobb. You had the 2-seam fastball with the 4-seam that he throws. He's got a nice assortment and mostly fastballs, and then he throws a splitter, something that a lot of pitchers don't throw anymore. Doesn't throw a curveball, but the splitter is a good strikeout pitch for him, although tonight he's used the fastball, just kind of mixing it up a little bit. But the 2 strikeouts to start the game.
Cobb now faces Chris Davis. The first pitch is drilled left center field. That's a base hit. Rickard over there to cut it off. And the A's have 2 on and 2 out. So Chris Davis did not wait around. And now Matt Olson will hit.
Well, you get some history against a pitcher, you know he's going to try to get ahead. He did with a fastball up, and actually rare that Chris Davis pulls the ball in the left center. That's the type of pitch that he goes inside out to the opposite field. And I think, as Bipster said back in studio, these walls are short here, and the ball does carry well here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards, even though the weather being the way it is tonight.
Whether or not, it's always been and always will be a very good hitter's park.
Absolutely. See the ball well with a great batter's eye in center field.
And now it's 2-0.
Think about if you hit a ball far enough in right field and somebody chases it, get to visit Boog's Barbecue.
Yep. And now 3-0. So Cobb struck out the first 2 guys looking. And then a walk, a single, and now 3-0 to Matt Olson. Pours that one in their first drive.
Do the Orioles not know how to shift? This is amazing to see what happened over the weekend with Matt Olson and the Rangers, and look at tonight and see pretty much a straight up defense. Slightly pull to the right.
Grounded right to Valera, the second baseman, side retired. So the A's threaten but do not score. Orioles come to bat when we come back.
California is brought to you by Toyota. Designed for the grind that comes through every time. See your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota. Let's go places. By Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Jack in the Box. Try something different, like Jack's Teriyaki Bowls. Only at Jack in the Box for a limited time.
So the A's threaten but do not score, and here's the starting lineup for the Orioles, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Cedric Mullins leads off, then VR, Mancini, Jones, Davis, Rickard, Nunez, Valera, and Joseph. Some names we know, Ray, some we don't.
Mostly those of don't.
By Thursday, we're home. Cedric Mullins getting a long look in center field for the Orioles. First pitch is in there, first strike. Mullins is a switch hitter. He's hitting .258. He's got 3 homers, 6 RBIs.
Adam Jones vacated his normal 3 Gold Glove spot in center field to move to right field.
So we'll make a deal with our viewers, Ray. We'll do our best to tell our viewers about the new Orioles, but we're not going to spend a giant amount of time. Speaking about giant amount of people,
wow.
This is the A's bullpen after the first inning, heading out.
I got 13. 17 relievers. Frankie Montas joined the club.
Yeah, with Frankie Montas here, the A's have 21 pitchers. That's a 2 and a 1. 21.
Well, Fires has made 3 starts against the Orioles, all here at Camden Yards, and unfortunately, with the record of 2-1, the one came here, the loss. But he's pitched well for the Athletics. That's the most important thing, making his 28th start overall between here and Detroit. But we know what he has done since joining the Athletics, and it has been spectacular. Exactly what the A's had hoped to get when they got him from Detroit.
He's got the 9th best ERA in the American League. Think about that. Beat the Yankees in his last start. It was his 11th win of the year. And now 3-2 to Mullins. 7-6 Tigers, and 4-0 in 6 starts with the Athletics. He has not lost a game since the 13th of July. The Astros beat him when he was with the Tigers. Simeon charges right near second base, throws, and Olsen keeps his foot on the bat. So Mullins is out, 1 away. Defensively, the A's will have Pinder in left, Laureano in center, and Piscotty in right. Chapman, Simeon, Lowry, and Olsen on the infield, and Jonathan Lucroy is the catcher.
Man, with the right-handed pitcher and Alex Scott, a lot of right-handed batters in the lineup for Bob Melvin, and that is something that the skipper and Chad Pinder's been swinging them out well. Laureano, we know his story, and Piscotty, we talked about earlier, doing a great job in center field or right field. I've been thinking about Mullins. He took 3 pitches in the dirt, but it looked like he swung the ball 4. With the pitch up, he's a little bit over anxious, and Fires could not get him to chase a pitch in the dirt or down low, but got the 3-2 and got him.
1-1 to count to Jonathan VR.
You know him.
Yeah, Houston. Remember him with the Astros.
That's right.
Bounce foul at the plate. VR came over in the trade. He was with the Brewers after the Astros. One of the players the Orioles traded was Jonathan Scope, the very fine second baseman. VR back. Strike 3 called on the inside corner. Well, time now for a Coors Light refreshing finish. Last year on the 21st of July here in Baltimore, that's Mike Fiers pitching for the Houston Astros, and he struck out 9 in 7 innings and gave up just 1 run, and he got the win. Again, that was last year on the 21st of July.
And Kuip, that was against a pretty good lineup, because at one time the Orioles had perhaps one of the best fielding infields in all of baseball, with Manny Machado at third, J.J. Hardy at short, Jonathan Scope at second, Chris Davis at first. You see the numbers against the Orioles for like Fires. But J.J. Hardy was the leader of the infield crew, and he was outstanding, as we saw for years when he played shortstop for the Orioles. Lineup that Fires faced last year in July, and that was a pretty good. All those players since gone.
0-2 to Trey Mancini, playing first base. He skies one to right field. Piscotty looking up, waiting, and he's got it. Fires with a 3-up, 3-down inning, no score after one from Baltimore. A's got some very disappointing news today. It has to do with Sean Manaea. He's going to have arthroscopic surgery on his left shoulder. It'll happen on the 19th of September. Got some labrum issue.
Yes.
So we wish Sean Manaea the best of luck as far as the severity of the injury and all that. We don't know that. Much as we'd like to be able to tell you when he's going to be back pitching again, we don't know. And you know what? I don't think the A's training staff knows.
No, and you know, Kuip, I'm looking at the August the 24th when he started Minnesota, went 5+ and gave up a hit in the 6th inning and came out. And of course the A's did win the game. They picked up the victory, but he was throwing 88. And I'm looking, I was going, wait a minute, is that his fastball or is, you know, change up? And you know, I couldn't really tell, but his velocity went probably what, from 95 at one time down to 87, 88. So something was wrong, and I wish him the best. Hope it really is just that, the arthroscopic surgery, and hopefully he's back sooner than later, because there's a whole lot of pitchers already with the Tommy John 4 starting in spring training.
I think Sean Manaea's shoulder has been bothering him for a couple of years now.
If you look at the velocity, because that's what people, scouts were saying, maybe the really the scouts said just watch the way he pitches his arm, his delivery is a little bit different, and so maybe there was some things happening he was trying to compensate. But bottom line, if he's hurt, needs surgery, get it taken care of, and he's got a great career in front of him, and better to get healthy and come back and pitch instead of trying to pitch through something.
So as much as we'd like to, again, we'd like to give you a timetable, but we don't know.
No, absolutely not.
Is he going to be out there fully healthy, chucking at the beginning of spring training? Probably not.
Yeah. Tommy John for Chris Bassett, who you saw in the bullpen.
Nunez, who throws. That's out number 2.
Okay, A.J. Puck and Jarrell Cotton in spring training. Kendall Graveman, Daniel Gossett. There's 4 Tommy John surgeries there. Ronaldo Nunez, who was in the A's organization and with the Rangers and now Baltimore. And Buck Showalter said he just needs to find a position, and they're trying him at third to get him every opportunity. I don't think he's going to be Brooks Robinson. But Buck Showalter, if he could have Brooksy work with him a little bit, maybe that will help. There's the number 5 retired for the great one, the human vacuum cleaner at third base for the Orioles.
Pinder rolls and foul. Chad Pinder in left field tonight. 256 is his average. He's got 11 home runs and 25 runs batted in.
You know, it seems like he's facing right-handed hitters, pitchers better than lefties. At one time, he's pretty much platooning, hitting only against lefties, but he's handled the right-handers quite well.
Drives this one toward right field, but Adam Jones got a good jump, reaches down right around the kneecap, makes the catch, and that's a 3-up, 3-down inning for Alex Cobb. He's been fighting a blister. Yeah. Watch this. Yep. That's it. They have called down to the bullpen, and the bullpen is starting to get loose. So Alex Cobb is done for the night, and he's not happy.
Yeah, he just saw him throw his hat. And you know, it's remarkable as Mike right, the right-hander gets loose, but it's remarkable that he even started, because there was some question. And you know, we saw with Rich Hill a couple years ago how the blister on his middle finger affected the curveball and kept popping open. And hey, those are hard.
Adam Jones on the first pitch he sees lines it to right field for a base hit. And the reason I think it's frustrating for Cobb, you know, his overall numbers this year are not very good. But excuse me, man. See Jones with the base hit. But Cobb has been pitching really well. Trying to kind of salvage the final month of the season.
And you know, probably because just like Buck Showalter, Alex Cobb, a veteran, he signed a long-term contract and wanted to be a part maybe of being a spoiler, and he pitches well enough he could be.
Sure. We'll see how that plays out the rest of the ball game with the Orioles going to their bullpen. Chris Davis, 77 is the batting average.
Well, there was been players who are hitting around 200, because to call it the Mendoza line, that they don't want to get below that. Well, Davis is trying to avoid being the everyday player with the lowest batting average in game, and that's not good.
That's not good.
No.
And there's a strike. No, that's not good.
Now tonight you have two Chris Davises DHing. One starts with a KHRIS and 41 home runs, and this Chris Davis, who signed a $161 million contract, 1 in 200, but settled for 161. And for a team that's rebuilding, I don't know if they're going to be able to get rid of him.
They are not going to be able to get rid of him. I looked it up, Ray. He has 4 years after this year. 4 years and $92 million left on that. That's one you don't get out from under.
No. He was lucky. He signed at a time when the Orioles were good. He was a free agent.
Well, and he also signed it after the 2015 season. And in 2015, he had a terrific year. He had 47 home runs. He had 117 RBIs, and he had 923 OPS. He had 31 doubles. So, he was a middle of the order major run producer. Strike 3 called. Chris Davis takes it right down the middle.
And that's one thing he does a lot of, and that is strike out. Normally he swings, but this one is right there. He backed up a little bit. That ball is down the middle. And I think there are some players that sometimes you'd like to see a player go in the dugout, like Cobb did, throw his hat. Show some emotion, because just sometimes you get the impression the guys just don't care when they've got the contract. But it's tough for him and the Orioles, because when we saw him with the Rangers, he struck out a lot. And give Buck Showalter a lot of credit, because he put him at first base, where he became a better player because he was playing both sides of the baseball. Tonight he's DH.
Joey Rickard. Now, obviously, hindsight is 20/20, but I can say with all honesty that when he signed that contract, I said, "What? Are you serious?" And I think you probably said the same. And we are not alone. There was a lot of people who thought it was an overpay.
Well,
it was an overpay.
And the thing that I read, that he was asking for 200, and the Orioles said no, we balked at it. And then they finally, it was a last-minute sign. They were going after Yoenis Cespedes for a 5-year $90, because they felt they were not going to be able to sign Chris Davis, and so they signed him. And Cespedes is out of the picture. He came out of the picture after he signed.
See, but the thing too is, and I'm a big advocate of this. It's okay to boo the player and he's not performing up, but you really, if you're an Orioles fan, you really ought to boo the front office, because that's one of the worst contracts of all time, and that's the reality.
And for that man, Dan Duquette, who we just saw, he admitted, he said basically the Orioles are in a total rebuild. Adam Jones is a free agent after this year, declined a trade. He had 10-5, which allows him to veto a trade, and could have gone to the Phillies or Dodgers. There are a couple of clubs that were really interested in him, and he vetoed, said no. And Dan Duquette pretty much said, "Hey, you're not going to be here, because we're in a rebuild," and he's going to want. I think he's got 11 years with the Orioles, and probably what he's going to want, the Orioles aren't going to pay, because they are going to be paying Chris Davis, number one, but number two, in a total rebuild, you don't pay a player a lot of money as a free agent.
Well, once the Orioles got off to a bad start, and they were 8-20 in April, and then they got through May, they were 9-19 in May. So show was over early, and that's when the Orioles said, "Well, you know what, we got to start trading people," and they traded a bunch, and they traded a lot of talent. Of course, Machado goes to the Dodgers. Jonathan Scope is terrific.
Yeah. Just hit a grand slam.
And Oh, Day and Gosman, they all went in the same trade. Britton went to the Yankees. And as Ray, you just said, Adam Jones would have went as well, but he said no. Runner goes, pitches inside, throw to second base. Is not in time. Adam Jones with a stolen base.
Well, for some reason, Jonathan Lucroy didn't react. I don't know if he thought it was 3-2, but just one out. Adam Jones took off, and I mean, he's going on a straight steal. But watch Jonathan Lucroy. It's like, oh, he's running. It's almost like a delayed steal, but it was a straight steal all the way by Adam Jones. For some reason, Luke did not react to the pitch and to the runner going, especially the way he's throwing.
So the count 3-2 to Joey Rickard. Grounded to Simeon. Throw in time. That's out number 2.
Jonathan has the thing that. See, he hesitated before he transferred the ball, so something happened to where he did not react. And with a right-handed hitter and a runner running, you see him. And he just, that slight hesitation, and then when he transferred the ball, that didn't seem to be a problem. The problem, it seemed, was him not coming out from behind the plate like he normally does with the quick feet and throwing to second.
So 2 outs. Here's Renato Nunez. Nunez wearing number 39. First pitch is inside. Nunez had those big seasons in the minor leagues for the A's. Last year he hit 32 home runs for Nashville. The year before that he hit 23 home runs for Nashville. So I think he proved that he could hit. But just the position and where to play him, that's the issue for him. Little pop-up right side. Lowry's right there. And he's got it. So leadoff single, nothing else for the Orioles. 3rd inning coming up.
NBC Sports California is brought to you by the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid, America's first hybrid minivan. Test drive one today.
Beautiful look outside Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Still one of the game's best ballparks. We like coming here. Hey, when it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change tune-up and smog expert. So it's Mike Wright, who's 3-1 with a 5.66 ERA. So he takes over for Alex Cobb, who goes 2 innings, gives up a hit, a couple of strikeouts. But the blister acts up, and Buck Showalter has to go to the bullpen here in the very 3rd inning.
Started the game against the Athletics in 16, first game of a doubleheader. A rain out, coincidentally, as we're sitting here hoping it doesn't rain for these 3 games. With 3 days the A's are here.
Yeah, we'll give you the best update we can on the weather situation, which is a major deal here on the East Coast. Hurricane Florence moving toward the Carolinas, it sounds like, which is north of here. So as far as Baltimore goes, it's not going to get the direct hit, but there's the hurricane's going to hit south of here. So Baltimore's not going to get a direct hit, but you're going to get residual rain no matter what.
Yeah, they're talking in some areas 40 inches of rain. 40, you can't even imagine. But I guess the hurricane picks up the moisture from the ocean and brings it inland.
And then once it gets inland, it just sits.
Drops and just sits. You're right.
LaCroix with a 4-pitch walk.
Well, right with similar pitches that Cobb has, but not as experienced as Alex Cobb.
Now the top of your order.
Hey, this is like an opener. Cobb was the opener for 8 hitters. And
You've seen this before.
No, I think with his reaction and the blister, I think that said it all. So, we wish him the best, and sometimes it just takes some time. And coincidentally, in the game back on May the 7th of 16, it was Rich Hill who started against him in the game, and that situation that we knew what happened with him and his blister.
So 0-1 to Laureano. Off of right, he scrambles after it, picks it up, throws to first. Laureano is retired. Right is okay.
Well, they got to take a look at him, and I'm sure for Buck Showalter thinking about this, got him on the right foot as he followed through, able to pick up the ball and throw him out, and then hurt. Ariana hustling as always. Check the follow through if we can see it. Just seemed like as he followed through, it was on the side of this right foot. Should be his push up. 102 miles an hour off the bat. Out of the stretch. Check the right foot as he follows through and see if that's the foot that gets hit. Right. It's the left.
Yeah, like the back leg.
Yeah.
So he is going to stay in the game. He'll face Matt Chapman. But to finish up the possibilities, Ray, they had talked about a doubleheader tomorrow. But for that to have happened, they would have had to announce that today.
Right.
And we have not heard anything, with the concern being for the weather on Thursday.
Is the other possibility of a day game on Thursday versus a night game?
And that is the other possibility, yeah. If the weather's going to hit late Thursday, then it is possible that they would move the Thursday game to a day game. And for the A's, they would then be able to get out of here after the day game on Thursday, which would probably be a good thing.
Tell you, a lot of credit to Mickey Morbido and his efforts and everything that's going on, especially the month of September, and now add all of this to that work that he puts in. What do you say, to head south but go west around?
Well, you have to go around
the
bit,
the hurricane.
But they're talking about the weather hitting here sometime late Thursday or Thursday evening. But again, that can change. So it's a little up in the air, really, as far as Thursday's game.
And you know, in reality, last 3 years wouldn't matter. It matters a lot this year because the A's looks like they're going to have to play every game, which means that if you are rained out a game, and this is the only trip the A's make to Baltimore, which is another story, but you have to find a mutual off day. Otherwise, it has to be at the conclusion of the season if it means something. And it looks like it's going to.
Pickoff, and sliding back is LaCroix.
The irony of this whole thing is the A's have had to depart twice out of St. Petersburg because of hurricanes incoming. One of those was coming here, spending an off day in Baltimore. Another one is in Detroit, and the one out of Boston was to Cleveland. So 3 different times the A's had Sundays off because of weather.
But I think we'll all be glad now when we get to Florida this time.
Absolutely. Yeah, because in Florida, surprisingly, I guess that's okay. And that's all kind of hitting the Carolinas and coming up east, northeast.
3-1 to Chapman. Chapman slices one right field. Adam Jones hustling over, can't get it. It rolls to the wall. Lucroy's going to come in to score. Chapman's got a double, and the A's have a 1-0 lead.
And Chapman with yet another double, and especially to the right side. And Chapman on a 3-1 little cut fastball from the right-hander, and he cut it down the right field line, slicing away from Adam Jones, and just enough to elude Jones in right field, which means he's going to drive in a run thanks to Lucroy walking, getting the second on the ball off the pitcher by Laureano.
So Chapman gets his 60th RBI, and here's Lowry. So the A's jump out ahead 1-0. And now 2-0. Lowry walked in the first inning. This year with 70 walks. That's the most on the A's. It's 70 walks and 145 hits. Too shabby.
That's great on base percentage. You do that.
Lowry 145 hits, second on the team in hits. Is Simeon.
It's amazing.
148.
Amazing too, Kai, how often, in case of Cobb, retired the first 2 batters. Jed Lowry walks, and we have seen Chris Davis hit a home run following the walk by Jed Lowry. Just a base hit tonight for Chris Davis.
So Lowry 3-1 the count. And he misses outside. So A's threatening here in the third with a runner already in. Time now for a October Quest update. Here's Brody. Yeah, Stros are rolling, but the A's are rolling as well, so they're able to stay close. Both teams pretty relentless, actually. Astros have won 8 out of 9. A's have won 6 out of 7. How about Tyler White?
Yes, well, he's taken over, and Evan Gattis is no longer the DH. It's pretty much White now. But the half-game difference entering play yesterday after the Sunday finale was the 3.5 or 2.5. Because the Astros lost.
Line drive past a diving VR. Rickard has it. Rickard's throw to the plate is cut off. Chapman comes in to score. Chris Davis with an RBI single, and the A's lead 2-0.
Shared second base by Jed Lowry for Chris Davis, who singled twice, and man, 2 rockets off the bat. And those are, the pitchers have to be happy. They have not been home runs. 2 pitches right down the middle, and a diving effort by VR could not get it. It was hit so hard. At least he made the effort to catch it, could not. And Matt Williams, with Rickard playing deep in left field, of course, knows the arm strength, the speed of Matt Chapman, who can fly. And gets around easily to score the second run in the inning. 109 runs batted in for Chris Davis. It's Bill Miller behind the umpire.
Yeah.
Come on, Bill. Come on, just talking about you. Don't be yawning. Bill Miller from down in the Watsonville area. He's Californian.
See what happens when you don't get that afternoon nap?
That's right. Yeah.
Come on, Bill. You got to get that afternoon nap.
Just put your hand up over your face like you're rubbing your eyes if you're going to yawn. He's a good man. Bill Miller.
So still only one out. Here's Matt Olson. First pitch is in for a strike. Olson grounded out to end the first inning. He's sitting on 69 RBIs.
I think it is amazing, though, how different teams will defend certain hitters. As Ramirez, the right-hander loosing in the bullpen, may be a bullpen game. Well, it already is with Wright pitching now. Ramirez getting up. But with Matt Olson seeing a lot of clubs over-shifting him to the right side, and Wright made 3 pretty good pitches.
Bunched him up a little bit, it looks like. Back in on Olson.
Stayed inside, and maybe Matt's a little confused. He's had 4 outfielders in Minnesota. He had to overshift against the Rangers, and now straight up, and fastball's in, elevated, couldn't catch up.
So 2 away. Here's Piscotty, who grounded out to short in the second inning. Piscotty has an 11-game hitting streak. 14 hits and 39 at-bats during that stretch. Got 21 RBIs in his last 20 games. He's got a career-high 38 doubles. Has a career-high 23 home runs. And he rips one to center, and that's a base hit. Here comes Lowry. Lowry will score without a throw. 3-0 A's lead.
Great hitting by Piscotty, but the amazing thing, Kuiper, to see Mullins come over the ball and not even attempt. You know, you throw, you might hit a cutoff man, you might get somebody to go bases, but Stephen Piscotty took advantage of a hanging breaking ball up the middle. Mullins charged it and just get it back in, cutoff man. Jed Lowry, you know he's going to be sent. 2 outs on contact taken off, so 2 walks in the inning, both have scored. So some good hitting by Chris Davis and now Stephen Piscotty.
So 3 hits and 2 walks in the inning. And Simeon takes a strike.
Okay, Brody was talking about the launching pad at Comerica Park. I'd take these hits right now. Home runs are great, but the singles driving in runs just as important. A's did that on Sunday as they were trailing the Rangers. Started with a opposite field hit by Franklin Barreto.
So quick 0-2 to Marcus Simeon. Just grounded out to third. His first at bat. Hitting 300 runners in scoring position. Foul back. Yankees and the Twins will get started in just a little bit. That'll be game 2 of that series. Sonny Gray's going to pitch tonight. New York won last night 7-2 as they hold on to that 3-game lead over the A's for the first wild card spot. Basically, your lead is Yankees' lead gives them the wild card game in their home ballpark.
Now the A's would have to finish at least a couple of games ahead of them because they have the tiebreaker.
Yeah, I think you're right. The tiebreaker, correct me if I'm wrong, but it goes head to head. It's the first tiebreaker. A's and Yankees 3-3, right?
Yeah.
And then the second one is, what is your record within your own division?
Right.
Is that correct?
Right. Exactly.
And that's where the difference comes in. The A's are 33-34 against the West. The Yankees are 34-26 against the East. So they have a fairly decent lead there. Again, it's just, what is your record within your own division? So the A's 3 back of the Yankees, but you'd have to finish a game ahead of them. So really, you're 4 back.
Right, exactly.
Just check to see swing. So the count is full, and that will get Chris Davis moving at second, Stephen Piscotty moving at first. So a long inning for Mike Wright, his first inning out of the bullpen. Marcus hits a towering fly ball to right field, right at Adam Jones. And that will do it. A's score 3 times on 3 hits and 2 walks. Bottom of the third coming up. 3-0 Athletics. Three to nothing. A's leading the Orioles, bottom of the third inning. Mike Fiers with 3 runs so far as he faces Breivik Valera. Things off, switch hitting second baseman.
Well, the nice thing about Mike Fiers with the 3-0 lead, not that he's going to change his game, but he can throw strikes. He's very capable and trying to continue doing that against this Oriole team and not give them a chance to come back. Run support every pitcher loves. Mike Fiers has been given that since he joined the ball club.
Yeah, that's a good point. Just looking at it. His last start, A's won 8-2. Start before that, he got a no decision, but the A's came back, won the game 7-5.
That's game he had a 5-0 lead.
That's right.
Yeah, gave it up.
Piscotty trotting in, Lowry out. Piscotty will take charge, and he makes the catch.
Hey fans, here's a great one. Have the chance to win a game-worn autographed jersey off the back of an A's player or coach following the game on September the 22nd. Fans make a donation to the Oakland A's Community Fund at home games from September the 1st to 22nd. Will receive a scratcher card for their chance to win. Fans will also have the chance to win autographed baseballs, A's Swag 2019 Suite, and more. Find a designated team member throughout the ballpark or visit section 217 for your chance to win. Who do you want? What do you want, Cat? Whose jersey would you like to have? Take it right off the back after 20 seconds.
Boy, that would make it sound like I have a favorite player, which...
Well, no, we don't say that, but, you know, just... No, that's right. I'll take that.
You know
back.
what I mean?
I'll take it back. You know what? You want a jersey with everybody signing it, with no name on the back or number.
I'm kind of a Matt Chapman guy.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I didn't even put you on the spot, but But I think maybe we should put a jersey out and then have everybody sign it that way. But there's not enough room with 38 players and coaches. Maybe there's not enough.
I am
room.
a bit of a fan as well as a broadcaster, and how can you not like Matt Chapman? I could get you a Lucroy jersey.
Oh, Lucas, yeah. I would take one of Smooth, number 18.
Yeah?
Oh, Smooth could play. And it'd be Kuiper on the back, so it'd be you.
You sure you don't want a Bo Taylor jersey, number 46? Backup catcher for the A's. Yeah, I'm thinking from a catcher standpoint.
Oh, how about Matt Chapman? We talk about his speed. Check it out. Here he goes. Follow the circle. 26.6 feet per second. Second home, 7+. And slid and didn't have to, but that's some speed. And that really helps the third base coach. And Matt Chapman, of course, knows the outfielder's arm strengths.
Statcast AI, powered by AWS, as Caleb Joseph drops a 1-out single in the right field.
Joseph, a lot of years the backup to Matt Wieters, who went on to the Washington Nationals. Now Joseph, the everyday catcher, is getting the majority of the time. I didn't like the fact that he was looking up into the sky, because it's like he was looking for rain. I don't like that. I mean, if he plays for the Orioles, he's got to know about the rain here. We don't need that.
First pitch to the leadoff man, Cedric Mullins, was low. Mullins grounded out to Simeon in his first at bat. Here's a strike on the outside corner.
Sometimes a hitter, in the case of Mullins, the first batter for the Orioles, if it had been maybe a little more patient, maybe he does walk. Maybe that changes everything for Baltimore, but looked like he went after ball 4, hit a ground ball, and Fires ended up having a 1-2-3 first inning.
Mullins was a 13th round pick of the Orioles in 2015, so just 3.5 years in the minor leagues, and now getting a serious look at being the center fielder of the future for the Orioles.
Buck Showalter is very good at that. We saw him in Texas when he gave Mark Teixeira the chance to play third. We were down there. Remember, that was a time when everybody was thinking, how can he continue to play? And Showalter said, he's going to stick with it.
Turned out okay.
Oh. Talking to Teixeira in New York, and he was raving about the opportunity that man, Buck Showalter, managing the Rangers, allowed him to play when he really struggled, but ended up being a great player.
The 3-1 pitch is low. So that's the first walk by Fires, and as we've said many times, he does not walk a lot of guys. That's just the 33rd walk on the year, and that comes in 155 innings.
You know, and I think when you're facing a team that is struggling, and you look at the triple digits in losses, but you have to, as a pitcher, think, okay, here's my opportunity to get a win for my club. And walks, of course, not something that he does. I'm sure not happy with that. He's looking for a double play ground ball. A speedy hitter.
Down and into Jonathan Villar. Villar struck out in the first. Olsen's got it, spins, he fires to second for one, back to first, got it!
Wow, what a play. What a play.
3-6-1 on the double play. A very difficult double play to turn. Mike Fiers got over there, and it's worth another look.
Well, Olsen's out of the picture once he makes the throw, and Simeon had to lead Fiers, and he did perfectly to the bag. What a play by the Athletics.
So that's how the inning ends. Orioles do not score. A's lead it 3-0 after 3. Chad Pinder to lead things off. He's got their 3 runs in the 3rd.
Those fans are happy. All A's fans clapping.
Mike Wright, 30 pitches in that 3rd inning.
The Buck Showalter had to be happy when the ball was hit off his foot that he was able to stay in the game. He was too.
Pinder hits one toward right center. It's hit well. Jones and Mullins come together, and it's going to be Adam Jones, who's caught a few balls in that area.
Smart play today brought to you by your California Ford dealers. Watch this play. 3-6-1. The important part about this, it was a runner at second. Marcus Simeon's throw covering was Mike Fiers. But remember, with the runner at second, you make an errant throw, run's going to score. So look at that perfect throw, leading Mike Fiers to the bag. There is your great defensive play. 3-6-1, Fiers with the ball on the right side, hustling over to first. And Fiers is fired up with the double play because he saw the great throw by Marcus Simeon on the great double play to get him out of the inning. And if he does not react quickly enough, he has to get to the bag. Kind of as a running, moving target, that makes it harder for the shortstop, but he got to the bag, and Simeon made the perfect throw.
Jonathan Lucroy led off the 3rd inning with a walk and scored.
His former team, the Milwaukee Brewers, playing well. Jonathan Scope, as you mentioned, was hit the grand slam. That helped. That was Sunday's game. Jonathan came up with the Brewers. Very good catcher. Very good offensive catcher as well. But done a great job for the Athletics behind the plate, handling this pitching staff.
All of a sudden, that Brewers Cubs battle in the National League Central, well, it's gotten about as close as you can get. A fought for Mancini, who stays with it. And that's the 2nd out. Well, those 2 teams are playing in Chicago, game 2 of that series. Milwaukee has won 4 in a row. Cubs have lost 3 in a row. And just like that, the Cubs lead in the Central is 1, and they are playing right
head to head.
They'll have one more game in that series tomorrow, and that's it. Then they will not play each other again the rest of the year. It's become a little bit of a rivalry, the Brewers and the Cubs. But just out of curiosity, Ray, I looked at the two schedules, and things got a little weird for the Cubs. They are at home, obviously, right now, and they're at home this weekend. They have Thursday off. They have to play a makeup game on Thursday at Washington.
And
as in close to here, as in a lot of rain.
Oh, that's right.
And then they have a day game back at Wrigley on Friday. The makeup game is a 4:05 start here on the East Coast.
Where it's supposed to be hit hard.
And that's Thursday is
the day,
you know, the questionable day, and Washington is a little south of here a little bit, which is that's not going to happen. So the Cubs got a tough week. So they're at home. Night game tomorrow. Fly to Washington for a 4:05 game, and then fly back to Chicago for a day game at Wrigley on Friday.
And you have to wonder, and of course Joe Maddon has pulled a lot of things as far as dressing. Do they even fly after the game? They could fly in. It's not that far.
That's true.
Fly in on Thursday morning, play the game, and fly back out. But the fact that they're at home having to play a road game and then go back home.
You know, you think about that. You'd almost be better off to do that.
Exactly. Instead of staying
fly in Thursday.
Yeah. It's a short flight.
Just go to the ballpark.
Yeah, that's right.
Play, get back in the plane, and come home. Easy for us to say, right? But
no, you know, we used to do that when we played exhibition games. I think going into Birmingham, Alabama, we'd fly in, have lunch, play the game, head on out. You know, and it's not that hard. And especially if you leave early enough, guys come straight to the park anyway. They spend a lot of time at the yard.
It's a high towering pop-up. So we have the travel arrangements all figured out for the Chicago Cubs. Just call us, Cubbies.
Yeah, Joe, give us a call, buddy.
Take care.
NBC Sports California is brought to you by USAA. Insurance, banking, and investments tailored for the military community.
Well, it is September 11th.
Yes, it is.
Hard not to think back of what happened 17 years ago. Certainly a day to reflect and honor those who lost their lives.
Afraid that it never happens again. As that was something that you never forget. And that's the pins that we're wearing, and never forget it.
17 years ago. Trey Mancini leading it off.
fact, you know, that's a good point, because I know throughout the day across the country they were remembering those horrible events that happened, but it is important that people do remember, because over time you have a tendency to forget.
Yeah.
You know, so a reminder of something that was horrific as it was, but it's still, people should remember what did happen.
To the count to Mancini, Jones to follow, and then Chris Davis. So it's the heart of the order for the Orioles. Mancini lays off 2-2. Mancini hit a fly ball to right field to end the first inning. Mancini strikes out, and that is strikeout number 3. Time now for another October Quest update. Here's Brody Brazil. Seeing a little effort from the Detroit Tigers.
You know, you think about really the 3 important games.
Jones with the base hit. Go ahead, Jim.
But the 3 important games, that the Yankees are playing the Twins, the Tigers are hosting the Astros, and the A's are playing the Orioles. So it's really 3 teams who are trying to play in postseason, playing 3 teams that aren't, and probably the hardest games you're going to play, just because they're teams that, just like the Tigers, I mean, that was special last night for Justin Verlander to go back home, place where he started his career. He got a nice ovation, ended up winning the game. But Tigers want to win, just like the Orioles do against the A's, and of course the Twins against the Yankees.
A couple interesting other storylines in baseball. The Cleveland Indians, they got Andrew Miller back tonight, which is a big deal. And they also have Josh Donaldson in their lineup tonight. So the Indians, who obviously, well, they're going to clinch the AL Central at any point. Indians are in St. Petersburg. They're beating the Rays 1-0 in that game in the 5th inning. Josh Donaldson is in the lineup. He's hitting 5th. And he's playing 3rd base. The Indians have moved Ramirez to 2nd base, Kipnis to center field. So thankfully Ramirez is versatile.
Very much so, and a 30-30 player on top of it. 30 home runs, at least 30 home runs and 30 stolen bases. He's eclipsed both of them.
So we'll see what Donaldson does in a pretty good Indians lineup. I was surprised. I know he's been out for a long time with the calf injury, but he has not played since May 20th. So he did have some rehab games when he went to the Indians.
Well, of course, a lot of controversy, a lot of people talking about it. The Indians traded for him and then put him back on the disabled list. Well, a lot of clubs had a chance to. You know, they could have blocked it or could have claimed him whenever he was put on waivers. But now, as someone, national writer said today, how about because of the lack of resources, the Indians not able to acquire other players that perhaps they wanted to.
Jones runs and it's line foul. I always like what these teams complain about. And the complaint is that when Donaldson was traded, I guess he had technically come off the disabled list for like a day or two for the Blue Jays. Right. And then he got traded to the Indians. The Indians reevaluated him and said, you know what? We don't think you're quite ready yet. We're going to put you back on the disabled list.
And go in rehab.
Wait, you know what?
I don't think there's anything wrong. No, I mean, it's really very creative for the Indians, and you know, maybe some other clubs are upset, but bottom line, they had a chance to do exactly what the Indians did. Now, remember, the Indians are going to clinch the Central easily. They got him before the deadline, which makes him eligible for postseason. So they want him to play. They could care less about him coming to their team and doing his rehab there and facing major league pitching. So he gets some at bats. I think he had a couple of home runs at Columbus and won a Grand Slam, and now he's back active.
Yeah, the team's complaining about something that they probably would have done the same thing.
Of course. But Donaldson is going to be a free agent, so it's a rental player for the month and for postseason for them, because the Indians have a big enough lead. They're going to coast into the postseason.
Just missed. Also, the Red Sox get Chris Sale back tonight. That's a big deal for Boston. Of course, the Red Sox best record in all of baseball. They're going to ease him in, though. It's going to be like spring training for Chris Sale. He's starting tonight, and he was going to throw 40 pitches tonight. And then the next outing, 50 to 60. So it really is spring training for him.
And I think there's got to be some concern, because this is the second time off on the DL.
Strike 3 called. Davis called out on strikes for the second time. That's 4 strikeouts for Fires.
But you can watch him flinch and watch the slow curveball, and he started, couldn't pull the trigger. 74 right there, buckle the knees, and at that point he's done. I don't care how big and strong you are, when you buckle the knees, you're done at the point of, as a hitter, you just cannot recover. Great curveball. We've seen Chris Bassett with about a 67 mile-an-hour curveball. With Fires was at 74 with that one.
So 2 outs, Jones aboard. Here's Joey Rickard. Keeping a close eye on Jones, and there's been a couple close pickoff plays.
Dangerously close as far as the Orioles have to be concerned, maybe. Or not. Well, I think they're checking to see if they're going to have a challenge. That's why the home plate umpire, Woodson and Jonathan Lucroy, look in the dugout. Maybe they thought they got it.
Taps and foul at the plate. Rickard grounded out to short in the second inning. Just 2 hits allowed so far. Get back 3 hits allowed. Fires 2 of them. Adam Jones. Look at this. This is how close this play was.
Yeah, and this is why they wanted to see, because he had been sliding or diving back in. That time, though, maybe daydreaming or something happened, because he did not get back quickly, and thought maybe he had gotten a leg before he touched the bag.
Lowry circles underneath it, waiting, and that's the inning. So a hit and a runner left. We're through 4 from Baltimore. 3-0 A's.
The A's postseason push. Get A's home screen icons and features such as live radio broadcasts, the MLB TV Game of the Day, pitch tracking, in-game highlights, stats, news, and more. Download MLB at Bat today. And we hope you do.
Wright delivers to Chapman, and it's outside. Chapman an RBI double. He sliced the ball to right field for a hit. Knocked in Jonathan Lucroy with 1 out in the 3rd inning. Got the A's on the board. He added 2 more in that inning. Bounces this one up the middle, but a nice big hop for VR. VR flips it across, 1 away. And that'll bring up Lowry.
Kind of remember when the A's were back in Boston, in May, and Alex Cora, their new manager, said after the series, said the A's are probably the best team that they've ever faced as far as difficult to get them out. They take pitches, they make you work. So Tim Kirchin of the network today, and he said that Alex Cora told him the same thing in May, and just saw him recently, and without any prompting, Alex Cora said, "See what I told you about the Oakland A's? They can really work a pitching staff. Best at bats they've ever seen." So that's quite a compliment from manager of the Red Sox, and of course a guy who works the network, sees a lot of baseball. So that
especially when he plays against a team like the Yankees 19 times.
Exactly.
Best ever.
That's the A's won 2 out of 3 in Boston. That was a good trip for the A's, where they went to New York, Boston, and Toronto. That was only May. That was the other season. That wasn't even the current season, which started June the 16th. That may go down. Your statement about that may go down as probably the best of the year. Okay. The fact that the A's season started on June 16th.
Nice. A lot of bests going on right
That's
now.
That's right. That was a good one. I mean, somebody picked that up and started copying it too. You should have trademarked it.
3-1 to Lowry, who has walked twice and scored. There's a strike. On the outside corner. Right, trying to settle in. He's retired 5 in a row. Strike 3 called right on the outside corner. So 2 outs here in the 5th inning. Sunday, Greg Papa, Dante Whitner joined Jeff Garcia on 49ers pre- and post-game live. 1 hour before and after the Niners face the Lions to open up the home season. In-depth 49ers coverage every night with our insider Matt Mayoko on NBCSportsBayArea.com. The home of the authentic 49er fan is NBC Sports Bay Area. So the Lions come to Levi Stadium. 49ers lost Minnesota on opening day, and last night disappointing performance by the Raiders, beat by the Rams. Looked like the Coliseum was rocking, at least for a while anyways. Put that away. Put that away. We don't want to see that.
I think he's just showing off Birdie. I don't think they are.
Yeah, it is starting to rain.
Problem
just
is,
a little bit.
Problem is, if it does start, it may not stop. I think that's the issue for the area.
Well, you know what? Let's check our trusty weather app, right? See
Please do.
Right now, doesn't have any rain right now.
You know, the good news is the tarp is still covered. It's still covered in the whatever they cover it with. It's not open, ready to go, and you don't see the ground screw. See, that's good. So everything's fine. As long as that cover's on the tarp, we're good.
Mighty swing and a miss, and that's a 3 up, 3 down inning, and 7 in a row retired by Mike Wright. Bottom of the 5th coming up. Mondays in your X1 Voice remote and get live stats on your TV. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1. So bottom of the 5th, which has suddenly become a little bit more of an important inning. The rains are coming down. It's still somewhat of a light rain, but you got to play 5 and let the home team bat in the bottom of the 5th if they're losing. And if you can get through that, at least it's an official game. So quick 0-2 to Renato Nunez.
It's not that bad.
No, it's not. It's barely raining. In fact, I don't even think it's raining.
I think these people just figured they've lost 102, 103 games. You know, we'll just vacate.
Scotty backs up, but he's going to have room. A couple of feet in front of the warning track, and he makes the catch. So 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th.
He has a few words with a former teammate and Olsen at first.
They probably played together a lot in the minor. Here's Blake Valera. Valera was one of the 5 players that the Orioles got from the Dodgers for Manny Machado. Ravik Valera, he's a switch hitter.
Well, if there's ever a time for your scouting department to be on their toes, that's it.
That's the
You're going to trade somebody like Manny Machado, and he's going to be a rental player. Who knows what's going to happen when he becomes a free agent?
If you're a team, you trade somebody like Manny Machado's an MVP type player. You absolutely have to get at least one impact player.
Absolutely.
Now you don't know if they're going to be an impact player because you're getting prospects, but the point is like you said, you cannot miss it.
No.
You have to get at least one impact guy back.
And even though he's basically a rental player, you're still, it's not just your everyday run-of-the-mill player that's going to be a free agent you don't really care about. He's an impact player himself that you need to get somebody back. And I mean, you look at really what the Tampa Bay Rays have done, and the A's going to see him this weekend. I mean, the Houston Astros, whenever they had the opportunity to draft or to trade players, they did it right. And that's what Dan Duquette is hoping, that his scouting department did the same thing as they were looking at players to acquire for the trades of a lot of players that showed earlier.
They traded Britton to the Yankees. They got 3 prospects for him. As we said, Scope to the Brewers, Gausman, O'Day, and Brock all went to the Braves. So they got a whole boatload of prospects, but prospects are exactly what they are. You just hope that, as you said, your scouting department, who has seen all the minor leagues of all the other teams, and that's how you really decide who you want.
Exactly. And that's where you see the scouts out in the stands. Who are you here watching? And say, well, for trades or for acquisitions and free agency, but a lot in the minor leagues as well. And there's your 5 complete.
So the A's and Mike Fiers rolling along. They lead 3-0 after 5.
Fires coming back to Baltimore, where he's only lost the game this year. 2-1 against the Orioles, 1 loss here. And he is throwing good strikes, good fastballs, and also got a big curveball. And he struck out this man right there. It's Chris Davis. And also, how about this double play? A 3-6-1. Olson spins, throws to Simeon, back to first. And because Fires got to the bag on time, he was able to handle it like a first baseman. And Fires with a 3-hitter through 5 innings. And the Orioles with a new pitcher.
And that would be Jeffrey Ramirez. It's time for change. Think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. So spelled with a Y, but pronounced Jeffrey.
Nice that they had it in the notes to tell us that.
Because if they didn't,
that's right,
he would be Jeffrey.
Hey, oh, Jeffrey, go get him, buddy.
We're not fussy. It would have been. It would have been Jeffrey.
That guy, I think of Mike Wright, who came in relief of Alex Cobb, and you know, with an injury to Cobb, Wright could have had as much time as he wanted. He only had 1 bad inning. He had the 3rd inning, which was the first inning that he came in. He gave up 3 hits, walked a couple, both scored, gave up 3 runs, and then retired everybody after, starting with Simeon. So 6 in a row he retired before exiting after the last inning.
Retired the last 7.
Yeah, just have to wonder if he was completely loose when he came in. In reality, he had much time. All Buck Showalter had to go to the umpire and say, hey, injury. Reliever coming in, he's not ready, so he needs time. Walked the leadoff hitter. Got the next out off of his leg. Then Chapman with a double. Then a walk, then an RBI single. So good for the Athletics to take advantage right in the 1 inning that they had a success.
The 3-2 pitch to Olson. Swing and a miss, struck him out. So Olson 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts.
Olson has 3 at-bats, seen 3 different pitchers. And pretty good fastball from this right-hander. And really, Olson right there. If ever hit the home run at the Coliseum left center, which is a game winner for the Athletics. But that last at-bat, he's pulling off, almost like he's trying to pull the pitch instead of going in the opposite field. Maybe just totally confused with no shift.
Piscotty takes a strike. Piscotty with a ground out and an RBI single. That single extended his hitting streak to 12 games, so he stays hot. Homered on Sunday.
That home run number 23, season best for him, as he did it against the Rangers, and a no doubt. Warranted a Holy Toledo sign. So Stephen Piscotty, he had 3rd that game, didn't he?
I think he did.
Lowry got the day off. And Stephen Piscotty's dad, Mike, was down on the field prior to the game. He said, hey, you know, got to hit 3rd.
So 3 homers, 24 RBIs in the first 58 games. So it was a little bit of a slow start.
Can only imagine for him. As young as he is, and to have to deal with passing of his mother, to deal with that. And Chad Whitson looks like he got the bulk of this foul ball off the bat of Stephen Piscotty. He did off the catcher's mitt of Joseph, into the face mask of Whitson. That extension off his mask, that's the Steve Yeager extension. He was the on deck circle and got a foul, a bat that broke and got him in the neck.
The middle, and it pops off the glove of VR. It was not hit real hard, but placed well. So it's going to be a hit for Piscotty. Valera and VR were there about the same time. I don't know that they were going to get Piscotty.
Off the end of the bat, the little slider, and Stephen out of the box quickly. And you're right, VR going over. It's his play, if anybody's. And once he didn't get it, there's no way the second baseman Valera is going to be able to make the play. was a base hit, and rightfully so.
Yeah, Marcus Semien hits with 1 out. He has grounded out and hit a fly ball to right field. A's are looking for their 5th consecutive win. So they have won 4 in a row and 6 out of their last 7. Strike, says Bill Miller. So 0-2. A's have played well against the American League East. They're still trying to figure out what just happened.
He can't figure that out. He can't believe it was called. Because a lot of times, and we didn't see exactly, but Marcus keeps the bat on his shoulder and moves through quite a bit.
Very high and into the seats down the right field line. And the A's are 18-8 against the American League East. So they have done a very good job against the East. 24-7 against the Central, 33-34 against the West, and 12-8 against the National League. So they're close to getting to 500 within their own division, considering where they were 2-3 months ago. VR grabs it.
Yeah, they were in somewhat of a hole.
Yeah, they were 10, 12 games, maybe more than that, under 500 against the AL West. And now they're probably, when it's all said and done, will finish over 500 against their own division. So with 2 outs, Chad Pinder hits. Pinder's hit a pair of fly balls to right field. A's have 17 games left after tonight. Both the A's and the Astros with 2 more off days. That's it. There's really only 2.5 weeks of the season left. That's a strike on the outside corner. See, in the American League, the 3-game deficit between the A's and the Astros is by far the closest division. National League still has some races. A chance to go right down to the wire. We talked about that Milwaukee-Chicago race. Cardinals just 3.5 back. Braves have a 5-game lead over Philadelphia in the East, and the NL West is tight. Rockies lead the Dodgers by 1.5 games and the Diamondbacks by 3.5, so that's not over yet. So should be a fun 2.5 weeks of the regular season. So Pinder strikes out, a hit, nothing else for the Athletics. We are going to the bottom of the 6th. Orioles will have the top of their order. A's leading 3-0.
Sports California is brought to you by Max Muscle Nutrition and its 30 NorCal locations. Professional health and nutrition advice available for all ages.
There's the Inner Harbor in downtown Baltimore. Very nice area with the A's leading the Orioles 3-0. Bottom of the 6th inning behind Mike Fiers, who's at it again. He's given up just 3 hits. He's got 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, and only 68 pitches.
That's the good news right there. Because we talk about with the opener, as we call it, which means an excessive number of relievers pitching with the opener, depending on the second pitcher coming in. We see that tomorrow night. But it really is incumbent upon the starters who do start, like Fiers, to go deep in the ball game and limit the number of innings the bullpen has to go.
We should also tell everybody, Ray, that Brett Anderson's going to pitch on Thursday.
Right.
So he's feeling better.
That's good news.
That is good.
Hesitation.
Yeah, how about that?
Well, I think we're going to see an opener tomorrow night, and then, as you mentioned, Anderson on Thursday, and then back to Brett Anderson, who on the trip and scheduled to start on Thursday, which is great news. But then Cahill, Jackson, and Fiers over the weekend at St. Pete. There's Trevor Cahill, who struggled on Sunday, walked the first 3 batters he faced. Ryan Shulman, the 3rd trainer, the Athletics. Of course, we see Nick Paparesta and Jeff Collins on the trips. Now Brian Shulman on this trip.
Swing and a miss, struck him out 90 miles an hour. 6th strikeout for Fiers.
Well, you like to see a pitcher get a lead and then take charge, and that's exactly what he has done. 90 mile an hour painted fastball against Mullins, the leadoff hitter, and remember, out of the windup, nobody on base, or even out of the stretch, you can do anything you want, and he showed that little hesitation and threw the pitch that Mullins fouled. So Mike Fiers pitching well, as he has since joining the ball club.
I know we mentioned this before, Ray, but I think it's worth letting people know with Mike Fiers, who's 33 years old. He's won a World Series last year, having a very good season this year. He is not a free agent. The A's have contractual control over him next year as well. He'll be arbitration eligible for the final time, so he'll be a free agent after 2019. So he's going to be an A next year.
And you know what, Cappy? It's great for both the pitcher and the organization. I mean, it works both ways. And for Fiers to join a club that's playing as well as the A's are, and hopefully to play in October, he could be a part of that. And then, assuming he stays with the club next year and they continue to play as well as they are this year, they could benefit him. That's why I was surprised that Adam Jones didn't accept the trade to Philadelphia. Because he's not going to do anything here. He's going to be a free agent. Why not go someplace where you can maybe play well in September, maybe go to October, and maybe enhance your talents and your value? But he turned it down, and in the case of Fiers, I think the A's are going to benefit from that acquisition. He's happy, A's are happy.
This one's hit to center, and it's hit well. Laureano's going back, and it is gone. That's Jonathan Villar, who gets the Orioles on the board with a long home run to deep right center field.
Well, the problem in falling behind, this can happen. And a little movement on it, but at 84, that would indicate that like a two-seamer that just stayed right in the middle of the plate. In his last start, when he had an 8-0 lead, gave up a walk and a 2-run home run to Sanchez. But this makes it a 2-run game instead of the 6-run game that he came out after. So the A's, they're going to have to continue and score more runs, or Fiers continue to pitch well and shut them out.
Here's Trey Mancini, who Fires goes after the first pitch and rolls it foul.
Yeah, Cap, that was an easy swing. See how the ball jumped off his bat.
It did.
Right center, no doubt.
Mancini has hit a fly ball to right, and he has struck out. And now he's behind in the count 0-2. Sean Kelly starts to warm up. Mancini last year, his rookie season, he was very good.
Yes, he was.
293 average. He had 24 home runs and 78 RBIs with 26 doubles. That's a pretty good rookie season. Just got a piece of that one. No, he did not. Missed it. Lucroy picks it up, fires to first, and that's another strikeout, number 7.
Well, from a catcher standpoint, you first of all have to block the ball with 2 strikes, which Jonathan Lucroy does a good job. Keep it close, and then be able to throw out the runner. And Scott Emerson on the phone to Marcus Jensen, perhaps to find out how quickly Sean Kelly's going to get loose. But at 82 pitches, that's still not that many, but Kelly will not take long to get loose. And there's Marcus Jensen, the bullpen coach, with the lineup telling him who he's going to face and maybe how quickly he's going to be coming in the game.
First pitch to Adam Jones is in for strike. Adam Jones has a pair of singles. 3 infielders on the left side. Outfield pretty straight away for Jones. Fires, grabs it, and it'll underhand to first, and that will do it. Home run by Jonathan VR, a solo shot, so the Orioles are on the board. It's 3-1 after 6 from Baltimore. On this Patriot Day, USAA honors those who have served and all of our service members at home and abroad.
Baseball on NBC Sports California is brought to you by the Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid, America's first hybrid minivan. Test drive one today.
Back here in Baltimore, the A's leading 3-0.
That says it all right there.
Terrific 6 innings for Mike Fires. He continues his very strong season. Could be bullpen time for the Athletics. Jeffrey Ramirez into his 2nd inning of work out of the Orioles bullpen. He faces Lucroy, Laureano, and Chapman. Lucroy, a little pop-up behind first, and Mancini hustling down there, could not quite get it. Fernando Rodney gets up, starts to loosen up out in the bullpen. Lucroy walked and scored and grounded to first. Just missed.
I kept thinking about Rodney and Fires going 6 innings, and the bullpen, they had an off day yesterday, the A's did. They have another off day Monday, and then 2 weeks from this Thursday. So Mike Fires, maybe because he's going to come back on normal rest to pitch the Sunday game in St. Pete.
The shortstop throws out Lucroy, 1 away.
Well, as we wrap up the celebration of our 50th anniversary season in Oakland, what better way to celebrate than a 50-year musical journey accompanied by our world-class fireworks? That's right, 50th anniversary fireworks. Join us September the 22nd, beginning at 6:05 for our game against the Twins, and stay for the Bay's best fireworks. Grab your tickets at athletics.com/fireworks today. Oh, musical. Oh, that would be fun.
Line drive right into the glove of VR. Laureano's retired for the 4th time. So 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. And Matt Chapman will hit. Chapman 1 for 3. Matt Chapman with the double. A run scored and an RBI. All that came in the 3rd inning when the A's scored their 3 runs. Popped up. VR, the shortstop, is back in shallow left center field. He grabs it. So Jeffrey Ramirez has a 3-up, 3-down, top of the 7th inning. So it is 7th inning stretch time here in Baltimore, with the A's leading it 3-1, and we're going to keep it right here at the ballpark for a very beautiful rendition of America the Beautiful.
Lost loved ones on September 11, 2001. As a tribute to their memory, we ask that you please join a quartet from the Baltimore Choral Arts Society in singing America the Beautiful.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plains. America, America, God shed his grace
Designed for the grind that comes through every time. See your local Toyota dealer today. Toyota, let's go places. By Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Xfinity. X1 will change the way you experience TV.
Bottom of the 7th inning with the A's leading the Orioles 3-1. When it's time for change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service. It's your trusted oil change tune-up and smog expert. So Fernando Rodney comes in as he will take over here in the 7th inning after 6 very good innings from Mike Fiers.
Well, Fernando Rodney has become kind of the 7th inning pitcher for the Athletics, and then Familia, and then Trinan. You can throw Trevino in there as well. I think Kelly was up in case a mess was created in the 6th inning. And he was kind of hopeful to get out of the mess. And now Fernando Rodney, of course, a closer for his career, 300+ saves.
Well, hitters go in slumps, and sometimes pitchers do. Right now, Fernando Rodney is in a little bit of a slump. His last 3 outings, he's pitched 2 2/3 innings. He's given up 7 hits, 5 runs, and he's walked 3. And his first 11 appearances with the A's, he was terrific. So you gotta get him right. How about this? Players with strikeouts higher than the batting average, single season, Major League Baseball. Chris Davis, a 176 batting average. He's got 176 strikeouts.
And he's going to blame Mike Fiers because he got him twice tonight to get to that amount. Fiers threw 2 great pitches to strike him out. Fernando Rodney trying to get him as a leadoff hitter to retire him. There's the change.
That's a good one.
Just going to say that I think as you brought it up about lefties, his success against the lefties, throwing a great changeup, and it just looks so much like a fastball coming out of his hand. It's just a matter of guessing from the hitter standpoint. And I guess during that period of time you're talking about, they guessed correctly.
Strike 3 called on the inside corner with a fastball. Chris Davis has struck out 3 times, all 3 times looking.
Fastball first time, curveball second time. What's just fastball on the inside corner? That's more of a cutter. He didn't like it, didn't think it was a strike. He knows the strike zone. Just can't hit them when they are strikes. But that is a pitch that the umpire, Whitson, looking right over the right shoulder of Jonathan Lucroy. It was a strike, at least from his standpoint.
And we talked a lot about the Chris Davis contract, and it is what it is. But from Chris Davis' standpoint, he has to be losing his mind.
I hope so.
Well, but, I mean,
but no, you're right.
I understand, but
no.
You know what I'm saying.
No,
I mean, he knows the deal. He knows that his contract is crazy, and he knows everybody's talking about it. We spent an inning talking about it. He's got to be going, what the heck is happening?
Yeah.
Because I'm hitting 170.
And he could go in the record books, not only with that stat you just showed about the strikeouts and the batting average, but I think 181 is the record, something like 179 for an everyday player and lowest batting average. Yeah.
And I know that I just don't think he's going home at night going, oh well, we'll get him tomorrow. Yeah. I know people want to think that. Right. I don't think that's the case. These guys are big leaguers, and they take it hard.
Well, you remember when Pat Venditti was here, he dropped down, threw him a slider, and one-handed the ball in the right center field seats for a walk-off home run. I mean, those were some of the good years he had. But no, it's just baffling at times because change up again. But you know, from the Orioles standpoint, you know, they're stuck with him, you know, with the contract, and he took it. I mean, he asked for it, he got it. It's not his fault. But Fernando Rodney with a great changeup out of the strike zone, and there you take an advantage of an aggressive hitter, and Rickard.
I guess my point is just because you have a huge contract doesn't mean you don't care anymore.
Exactly. You know. Exactly. But you know one thing, Kai, I think when we saw him with the Rangers and seeing him now, he's not changed. It's the same approach. And I think if there's a struggle, and obviously his batting average and you know, strikeouts and everything, he's struggling. You know, sometimes you have to change. And you know, in his case, as strong as he is, he's always been patient to the point of taking pitches, walking, hitting home runs. It's what did they say? The 1 of 3 home run, strikeout, or walk. You know, but you know, you have to say, okay, I'm just going to load up, raise the leg, and go.
That's the point. I mean, if you look at tonight, he struck out 3 times looking.
Yeah.
That should never happen.
Not to somebody who hits home runs. Be aggressive. And if you're going to strike out, be aggressive. Exactly.
I don't want him striking out looking.
Right.
If I'm the owner.
Yeah, exactly.
I want him striking out swinging.
And you know, they've been good pitches thrown by the pitchers, but still, you're called out 3 times. You're going back to dugout, especially as a DH. Whew.
1-2 the count to Nunez.
And I think we've both known guys who change their batting stances every day, sometimes every at bat, and change their approach. But the one thing about Chris Davis, it just seems like it is the same that we've seen in Texas when he struck out a lot, took a lot of pitches, and same with the Orioles. Of course, the time he hit all the home runs, still his batting average was not that big.
Watch Chapman. Watch Chapman. Watch Chapman. The Orioles think that Nunez was safe. The A's are back in the dugout. But we'll tell you right here.
There's your bare hand, strong arm, stretch.
He's out.
Yep.
So another tremendous play by Matt Chapman, and we're through 7 here in Baltimore. 3-1 A's lead. All right, so the Twins lead the Yankees. And the Astros still leading the Tigers 5 before that game in the 7th inning. So the 2 games were eyeballing from not only the studio but the out-of-town scoreboard here in Baltimore. When it's time for a change, think Speedy Oil Change and Auto Service, your trusted oil change, tune-up, and smog experts. It's Tanner Scott, his 46th appearance, the lefty out of the bullpen. He is pitcher number 4. If you joined us late, Alex Cobb started the game and rolling along the first 2 innings, had a couple of strikeouts, but there was some concern coming into this start about a blister that he's been dealing with, and that blister flared up. And he went in the dugout after the 2nd inning and went up to Buck Showalter and said, "That's it, blister." So Cobb only went 2 innings. Wright went 3, Ramirez 2, and now Tanner Scott. Lou Trevino. Bullpen's way out left center field, stacked. Hit hard, backhanded, knocked down. Nunez picks it up. He throws, and it's going to be late. Oh, they pulled him out.
Bob Melvin immediately with a hand up, and have Adam Roden do some quick checking down in the clubhouse. But if he's out and stays out, what a play by Nunez. Knock the ball down, scoop at first base. He might be. I think they're going to. No. They're going to take a look at it. Well, the fact the ball bounced, did it get in the back of the glove? Nope. I think it did. That's what they're looking at. They have to. Did the ball get clearly back in the first baseman's mitt? While they're doing that, Kevin is checking the lineup for the Yankees. They're talking about a pass ball. It's Romine catching Sonny Gray, not Sanchez. Sanchez is DHing. So take another look. The ball bounces. See where the left foot is as the ball goes into Mancini's glove. It's not in the glove, and the foot on the bag, and should be safe because the ball has to be in the back of the first baseman's mitt.
So this seems like it should be a pretty quick call.
It's like Angel Hernandez. Romero's the crew chief. He made the call, so Angel has to, and he's safe. Thank you.
So we'll see if it's a hit or an error. Have you heard anything? Is went to back.
Yeah, that
just rolled away a little bit.
And I think that, if anything, is the reason it should be a hit because he saved a double. So
we got 6 hits for the A's up there, so it must be a hit.
And it's 5 coming into it.
And here's Chris Davis. Davis 2 for 3. He's got 2 singles and an RBI. RBI number 109.
Well, when you have a little over 9,000, you hear everybody in what they're talking. Watching the Rays game last night, and you could hear everything in that game.
Big swing and a foul ball. J.D. Martinez continues to lead the American League in RBIs with 121. That's coming into today. Chris Davis now with 109. Jose Ramirez from the Indians has 98. Alex Bregman from the Astros has 97. Jed Lowry is 7th in the league in RBIs with 89. Chris Davis leads the major leagues in home runs. Mookie Betts leads the American League in hitting, 342. J.D. Martinez is second at 331.
It's going to be hard, I think, for Mookie Betts not to win the MVP.
That's a good call.
I mean, talking about J.D., I mean, the whole club is loaded, but he's having a phenomenal season. But there's only one way to get the first crack at 2018 postseason tickets. Become a member of A's Access. That's right. With A's Access, you get general admission access to every single 2019 regular season home game. Plan on reserved seat tickets and significant benefits. Plus, A's Access comes with 50% off concessions, 25% off merchandise, and awesome parking benefits for the rest of the regular season. Learn more at athletics.com/2019 today. A's Access, every game your way.
First pitch is low to Matt Olson. So I'm just looking at Mookie Betts' numbers. And I sort of agree with you. Now, he's not in the top 10 in home runs, but you can't judge Mookie Betts on that. He's not in the top 10 in runs batted in. But again, we're really talking about a different kind of player, because I think with Mookie Betts you have to take his defense into the mix, and he's a sensational outfielder.
And as we have seen, they've got Jackie Bradley Jr. playing center, but Betts is a right fielder playing as a center fielder.
Betts in center? Great.
But I mean, just the fact that he can play center and right field, as we've always said at Fenway, you have to have somebody who can play right field like a center fielder, have the speed, the range, and he could do that.
There's a strike. Mookie Betts is second in the American League in runs scored, 116. He's fifth in the league in hits.
And he's come up with some big hits.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously.
He's third in total bases. He's second in on-base percentage and second in slugging. That one's not close. Rolls away. Caleb Joseph pounces after. So I agree with you. I think he may be your front runner.
Caleb Joseph going after a pitch away from Matt Olson. Looked initially if Jed Lowry at first had gotten a secondary lead, might have taken second, but he did not, and has to stay at first.
Scott's 2-2 pitch. Got it. Matt Olson strikes out for the third time.
Time now for the Chrysler drive of the game. How about Stephen Piscotty extending his hit streak with this base hit up the middle? Solid base hit. He would pick up another one. This one, though, would drive in a run, and every run right now is big. Extended to 12-game hitting streak for Stephen Piscotty.
Piscotty also had a hit in the 6th inning, so he's 2 for 3. Pulled off that one a little bit.
And I think your point that you brought up as we were talking about Stephen Piscotty, the guys back in the studio, about his calm nature, but yet a leader.
There's no question.
And he is very quiet, but you could just see the command that he has of just his presence is tremendous. And I think your point is great, that you don't have to be a rah-rah guy to be a leader. And
if you're a rah-rah guy, you're probably not.
Yeah, you're not backing up. And you look at his season, I mean, he can back up everything he says, but it's not like that he goes around screaming and yelling. He just does it in a quiet way, but a tremendous leader.
It's one of my favorite things a manager's ever said to me. I'm not going to tell you who the manager was, but I'm not going to tell you who it was. He said he had a player come up to him at the beginning of the season. This was, it doesn't matter what. He said, you know, I want to be a leader. He said, if you have to ask me how to be a leader, then you're not a leader. And that's okay, but you're not a leader.
That's right. That's a great point.
You either are or you aren't. Close pitch, 1-2.
Yeah, that's something you become a leader just by the way you act and you lead. You don't ask to be a leader.
And if you have to ask, then you don't know.
Exactly, you don't know.
There's another hit for Piscotty. Drops one down the left field line. It's going to be a double. Lowry will go to third and stop there. So Stephen Piscotty has a big day. He's 3 for 4, 2 singles, and another double. Give him 39 doubles.
Just a ho-hum 3-hit night for him. Taking the little cutter inside, slider that didn't really get as far as he wanted down and in. Marcus Semien and then Pinder behind him, and maybe the discussion by Caleb Joseph, what are they going to do to this right-hander with first base open?
Chad Whitson, the home plate umpire, is taking a stroll out to the mound. He's going to break up this mound visit. So Marcus Semien steps up, a chance to knock in a pair, give the A's a little breathing room.
Well, that long conversation by Caleb Joseph may have been about first base being open and who do you want to pitch to, or maybe just trying to tell him to get through this inning with a big out. And see how they pitch Marcus Semien, if indeed they are pitching him carefully with Chad Pinder, who would love to do what he did in Toronto on that wonderful Saturday afternoon, a grand slam to right center. Or just a base hit to drive in a couple.
So 1-1 the count.
I always think sometimes this is a tough at bat when you know first base is open. You have a lengthy conversation from the catcher to the pitcher. Then as a hitter, what's your approach? And it should be aggressive, thinking that I'm going to be the one they're facing. Looks like maybe they are.
Marcus now behind in the count, 1-2. Lowry at third, Piscotty at second. Bounce to the left side. Nunez ranging quite a ways to his left, and he throws out Marcus Semien. And the A's strand a pair. Bottom of the eighth coming up. It's the Athletics 3 and the Orioles 1.
Any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Athletics Investment Group, LLC.
Here's our game summary brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. 3-7-0 for the A's, 1-4-0 for the Orioles. Mike Fiers good again. Fiers looking for his 12th win of the year. Matt Chapman's had an RBI double. Jed Lowry's been on base 3 times. Stephen Piscotty has 3 hits. And the only run for the Orioles was Jonathan Villar's solo home run. That was in the 6th inning. So the new pitcher is Lou Trevino, coming in for his 64th appearance. Facing Rayick Valera. Valera has hit a fly ball to right field, and he has grounded to second. Rips that one up the middle, and that's a base hit. So leadoff single for the Orioles here in the bottom of the 8th inning.
Trevino, first pitch out of the strike zone, second pitch right there, and passed him very quickly. Hard hit ball by Valera. And just could not handle it.
So we're going to get a pinch hitter. Corbin Joseph is hitting for Caleb Joseph. There's absolutely no relation. Corbin Joseph is an infielder. So he takes a first pitch strike.
And welcome to September baseball. And of all people, Buck Showalter is an advocate about you can have 40, but only 25 active.
Come on, Buck. Keep pushing for that.
That's right.
Because we agree with you. Left center, but Laureano's right there, and he makes the catch. So one out here in the bottom of the 8th, and now you head to the top of the order, and Cedric Mullins.
Studied out of left-handers, Sanford Mancini, who is due up third following this left-hander. The formula for the Athletics is exactly what, I mean, I mentioned possibly familia, but maybe based on matchups. Trevino gets the 8th inning, and he's trying to pitch 3 in a row over the weekend against the Rangers. We'll say you want a non-save situation.
Mullins has been on base one time. That was the walk in the 3rd. A little bit low. Astros still leading the Tigers 5-4 in the bottom of the 7th inning in Detroit. It's Mike Gibbons, a right-hander. This takes a strike right down the middle. Outfield pretty shallow. Mariano, who we've seen play fairly deep at times, but looks like he's in a little bit.
Well, he gets his setup in center field, which is really kind of side saddle, and then he kind of straightens himself up. But he can go back on the ball, and if you can play shallow and go back, that's the best case scenario, because you're going to take hits away in front. And we've seen, just like over the weekend, running into the right center field wall, and robbing who's a Beltre of extra bases. But I think the key is to be able to go back on a ball.
Foul on the left side, headed for the upper deck.
I think back to May, early part of May, when the A's hosted the Orioles and swept that weekend series. The Orioles really didn't get a chance to experience, even though the A's swept them, back into this bullpen, because at the time Rodney and Familia were not with the club. Trevino did pitch, Trinan pitched, relatively low-scoring games.
And a pitch in the dirt. Mullins swings and misses, 2 outs.
Lou Trevino gets a strikeout, a hard breaking ball, and if there's a group of people in the audience here that likes it, they should, because the family, Lou Trevino, all on hand there. He's got his sister, his brother-in-law, his mom, his dad, his aunt, who she said is his favorite.
The traveling Trevinos. There they are.
Yeah, Greenland, Pennsylvania. Perkersville. It sounds like some medicine you take, but it's Percocet. What is it called? Perkersville or something? Percocet? Not Percocet, Percocet.
No, not Percocet.
Yeah, Percocet is the town. What? Percocet? Yeah. They were out on the field and
having a good time.
Oh, loving every minute of it. Getting a chance to be on the field, talk to their favorite guy.
Runner goes, swing and a miss. The throw to second base, scoots into center field. Valera is going to stay at second base.
Angel Hernandez taking charge as what Valeria is saying, that he was going to try to go to third base, but I wish he would have, because watch Laureano on your screen come charging in, the ball into center field, and there's Laureano. You know, Adrian Hernandez probably saw Laureano backing up. This ball going into center field. Zach quickly got to the ball. That prevents an extra 90 feet, and that's big. He does that all the time. He waited to make sure the ball passed the plate, and that's where the interference that Valeria is trying to get on Simeon.
So the count is 1-1 to Jonathan Villar. Valeria gets his first career stolen base. Now 1-2. Villar with a home run in the 6th inning. Inside. Villar had a big at bat in the 3rd inning. He came up with runners at first and second and 1 out. And he hit into a 3-6-1 double play, and the A's turned a very difficult double play. And that's a base hit left field. Pinder scoops it up, but Valera's going to score. He's got good speed, and now it's a 3-2 game. So the Orioles get a big 2-out hit from Jonathan Villar, and the stolen base comes into play.
Villar has driven in both a home run on a 3-1 pitch from Fires, and this ball to try to go inside it, just inside out at 97. That's pretty impressive hitting for Villar, especially with the runner in scoring position. Pinder had no choice but to throw the ball back into second, which is a good idea, as he could not throw out the runner on the move.
So here's Trey Mancini, who is 0 for 3. Mancini, a fly ball to right and a couple of strikeouts. Villar is a good base stealer. He's got 12 steals this year. He's only been thrown out twice. A couple of stolen bases tonight for the Orioles. Villar's got a big lead. So would he go? He does go. And the ball's lined toward Laureano in center. Laureano coming in. He dives in. He caught it. He caught it. If he doesn't catch it, I think it's a tie game.
I think you're exactly right.
The runner was going, and when Laureano caught it, Villar was between second and third.
That ball gets by him. It is a run, so a saver right there.
inning. Another maybe game-saving play by Ramon Laureano.
Well, it was a game saver, and you know, you talk about playing shallow. You take hits away. He took a hit away from Mancini, and he would have driven in the run had Laureano not made the play. If he's playing deeper, he probably doesn't get to it. But what a play by Laureano, who just continues to excel in center field. He's 0 for tonight, but who cares? He saved the game probably with that diving catch, and tremendous play by Laureano. But Kemp, as we talked about, and I know often talked about, right-handed hitter. You see the guy get the kind of jump that VR did, and Mancini swung, and that was good from the A standpoint because he had stolen second base stolen.
Michael Gibbons. That's Matt Joyce. Matt Joyce was hitting for Pinder. He's going to be retired. But watch where VR is and tell us if you think he would have scored.
He's a second as the ball comes down. It's like a base hit.
But here's my question. Why is VR turning around and looking?
Yeah, because it's almost
2 outs.
You know what, Kemp? He's looking back to say if he drops the ball, I'm going to get to third. Instead of busting it to third.
Yeah, but there's 2 outs.
No, I agree. There's no reason. No,
matter.
but that's the only reason he could have been looking back to see if he's. And that's.
In the.
Well, that's
so
just. It really is. And you know, talking to Buck Showalter before the game, he said it's an instructional league up here, and there's a perfect example. Why are you turning around to look between second and third when you're the tying run?
With 2 outs, and the third base coach is probably 30 feet from you, looking right at you.
Yeah.
And he's going to tell you what to do. See, that's the thing too, and which I've never understood this one. And I understand what Buck Showalter is saying about how, you know, he's teaching young players here. So not looking at the third base coach, you have to be taught that at this level?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. And it's not like he's a rookie.
What about like Little League?
Yeah, no, you're right.
So he didn't know it in the minor leagues. So, and I'm not talking specifically about VR, but I'm talking about Buck is saying that you got to teach things.
No, you're right.
This level.
You're right.
Really?
Yeah. No, that is not a teachable moment. No, that is what are you doing? And that, of course, he had a meeting before the game today. Buck Showalter did, to talk about plays that weren't not made over the weekend. It's for me. So it looks like he's the closer because Trinan pitched 3 consecutive games on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yesterday was off. They had Thursday off, but that's just the ability the A's have to have an excessive number of closer. And
it's a beautiful thing, isn't it?
Yeah. He may not be happy. That look of, wait a minute, isn't this my inning?
Nunez has it. His throw is just in time to get Ramon Laureano. So Michael Gibbons comes in, has a quick inning. Bottom of the ninth coming up. Familia coming in. It's a 1-run lead for the A's.
Well, the Oakland A's are teaming up with Pitch In for Baseball to host an equipment drive at the Coliseum on September the 22nd. Bring your equipment to C-Gate, D-Gate, or the Bart Plaza entrance and receive 2 free tickets to that night's 6:05 game against the Minnesota Twins. By the way, that's a fireworks game. All equipment will go to the Oakland Athletic League. More information at athletics.com/community. Mania bobblehead Friday, fireworks Saturday, shirt off your back Saturday, Fan Appreciation Day Sunday. What a weekend at the Coliseum.
Should be fun.
And then hopefully a lot of October baseball as Luis Familia is the closer select for tonight. And let's hope he is successful. As the Yankees, an update on that game. They're trailing the Twins 4-1 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Instead, Gary Sanchez grounded into a double play with the bases loaded. Thank you for that note.
So Mark Canha takes over in left field. And Adam Jones is going to lead things off. Jones, Davis, and Joey Rickard here in the bottom of the 9th inning against Jerry's Familia. Familia 17 saves with the Mets. He has not had a save with the A's. He's got a shot tonight. First pitch to Jones is down again. Ray, I have to correct myself. I made a mistake earlier. I said that Corbin Joseph and Caleb Joseph were not related. I was 100% inaccurate. They are brothers.
Well, you had me too.
I apologize to the Joseph family. I hope they're not upset.
No, I'm sure they're not watching us anyway, but they're watching Gary Thorne and maybe Mike Bordick. But I'll admit, I didn't know it either. And
just foul.
So both apologize to Joseph. Caleb's a nice young man. I to be honest, when we were talking to him when he first came up, he did indicate that he had a brother who was a prospective major league player, but now we know the rest of the story.
In the same dugout. It's pretty cool.
First hitter is always the big out in the 9th inning when you're up by a run.
Up the middle, Simeon's got it, straightens up his throw in time. One away.
Big out. That's a big out. Great range by Marcus Semien. Up the middle. Jones not really busting down the line, but Marcus Semien, nice easy throw. And the first out, the big out in the bottom of the 9th inning. You know the one thing, Kipe, and of course we get to see these guys perform every day. If you look at the defense of this athletics ball club, tremendously improved over the time, and I think we just saw with Marcus Semien up the middle on that play.
So here's Chris Davis. He takes a strike.
Oh, by the way, Laureano made a good play too.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
1-3-6-1 double play. So good things happening for the Athletics, and just trying to hang on to this 1-run lead.
Davis holds up. So 1-2 the count. Towering pop-up in play. Chapman right at the third base spot, and he's got it. That's a big out to get. Chris Davis 0 for 4. So 2 outs here in the 9th inning.
Well, you had 2 potential. You got 30 home runs between Jones and Davis, both making out to lead off this 9th.
So here's Joey Rickard. Last shot for the Orioles. Astros leading the Tigers 5-4. That game in the 9th inning. fouled straight back. So 0-1 to Joey Rickard. And now it's 0-2. Familia really pounding that power sinker. It's 596. That one 97.
Yeah, it is nasty. That's for sure. And if you think about Trevino, Trinan, and Familia, all with that turbo sinker. Fastball away.
Just missed it. 98 miles an hour.
Says thinking the two-seamer come back, he throws it too hard for it to come back laterally and try to hit the outside corner.
And Rickard takes it and drops it out. Rickard is 0 for 3 today. Straightaway defense. 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss. He struck him out, and that's the ball game. Familia gets his first save as a member of the Athletics, and Mike Fiers is now 12-6. Mike Fiers with the A's. Ray is 5-0. He's been terrific.
Love it. And a great guy to start a road trip. And Fiers pitched well for 6 innings, turned it over to the bullpen. 3 excellent relievers coming in 7, 8, and 9. The A's have another victory, and wait and see what happens in those other cities. But at least the A's, as we have talked about, control their own destiny. Tonight the A's, they did it.
So time of game was 2 hours and 45 minutes in front of 9,141. Final score tonight from Baltimore, the A's over the Orioles, 3-2. Time now for A's post-game live.